G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the southwest side of the map in the colour yellow, playing as the English, we've got Beastie. And look at that. We got not only a big fat zoom, but you got some big fat farms right there early on. Look how early these farms are coming in. I don't think I've ever seen farms this early coming out. And on the north side, in the colour red, playing as the French, we've got Kiljardy the Wide. Take a look at that. He is nice and fat right there. You're a thick boy, Kiljardy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Highview. We're here once again, and I will remind you, as I do in all videos now, if you enjoy watching this Age of Empires 4 content, please feel free to leave a like if you do enjoy the videos. So let's talk a little bit about this opening. Beastie going for incredibly early farms. Now, this isn't something that we often see players go for. Normally, it's a little bit of a delay. Like, they'll come out and grab wood. Maybe they'll go into a wheelbarrow first. This is farms from day zero. Literally, the journal hasn't even started yet. We're starting to write down things, and there was light. No, it was like day zero. There were farms. Day one, there was light. Like that. That's how quick these came down. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell am I making such a big deal about it? The sooner that you get over onto farms, the better. Why is that? The reason why is because it allows you to keep your villagers on a different source of food. So it extends the life out of these sheep. Now, when I say the life of these sheep, obviously they've already been killed early on. And, you know, rest there. May they rest in peace, these beautiful sheep. But the reality is, they're delicious. And we want to eat them, and we want to eat them for as long as we possibly can, because that's going to delay our transition to farms completely. So by spending these resources sooner, it means that he is creating this free food out of thin air, because he was going to have to make these farms anyway. So it just makes total sense for him to do this. So I really like this, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do genuinely just see this happening all the time from now on for English players. And look, everything is just so normal, right? Like, this is kind of wild. How has this never been done before? How is this the first time I'm ever seeing this? Like, no, I'm sorry to harp on it, but it just kind of blows my mind that still we're sitting here 2 years after the release of Age of Empires 4, and yet still what might seem like such a basic thing is only just being discovered right now by Beastie. Or I shouldn't say discovered by Beastie right now, but being used by Beastie right now. I mean, it may have been discovered earlier, but I've never seen people use it like this. And obviously we've had early farms before. We talked about it earlier. But typically that's going to be based around throwing down the mill, getting 6, 7 farms out, going for your fast castle, all that kind of thing. Whereas this is just, you know, I'm just throwing down 2 farms. That's it. It makes the sheep last for so much longer. He's got 11 sheep here. He'll have these sheep until like 64 minutes. And then he'll finally take it off and he'll be like, all right, we're good to go. But enough talk about our English hero today. Let's focus on our fantastic French player in the east, the northeast of the map. Going to be going for a school of cavalry here. No real surprise at this stage to see that, that there's a school of cavalry. Obviously, trade is an option on a map like this. Trade posts in a pretty decent position in these corners. But the French going trade, well, it's not really that popular. I mean, we saw B do it for a couple of games back a patch or 2 ago, and then it just kind of fell off. And you basically played the same way. Like, you didn't actually make that many traders. It was like, I'm just going to utilize the Chamber of Commerce and its bonus, get my free traders. I'm still going to play 2 TC. I'm still going to make a stable and just get 1 knight out. Like, all of these benchmarks were still basically identical. So the playstyle of French doesn't really change. And I'm curious what Kiljardy goes for here, because he is more of an aggressive player, and we've casted a lot of Kiljardy games lately. I'm really liking his stuff. He's really getting up there when it comes to skill. Now, one other thing to note, I am a little bit sick at the moment, so you may hear my voice and I've got a little bit of a like that. And I can assure you that, look, I'm not going to give you any coughs into the depths of your ears, but I will tell you right now that I may mute for a short time when I've got to do it. So anyway, we'll ride on board here with Beastie as he begins a feudal defense / push / preparation. We've got our barracks coming down, which is to be expected here against the French. I mean, there are games where you see the French, where you see the English not making a barracks early on, and it's very bold of them to do that. But age up times are not the fastest. These are pretty safe age up times here, I would say. Kiljardy's up though, And we've got that first knight in queue already. Expect to see Beastie bring that scout around to the front here. Not going to be able to find the enemy knight in time, but should be able to pick him up on this run up towards this spot. You can see Beastie now coming down. We'll probably look to meet this knight right here. Come on, give it to me. There you are. There's that knight. So he should be able to follow this knight all the way back and just make sure he's got 100% intel. And you can see that Beastie is looking to pick up that second town center already. A single spearman is out in the middle of the map, and he's also got a single spearman back home defending, but great job picking that one up early on, and now going to be able to force the French player back towards his own base. So Beastie doing a bit of role reversal right now. It's always a bit of fun when this kind of stuff comes out. We see the archery range getting thrown down immediately for Kiljardi, and Beastie moving straight over towards that stone mine. He says, I'm going for 2 TCs, but you're not. So you can think twice about going for it. We do see that the knight's just going to hide out at the moment inside the wood line. Scout moves forward. Longbows are going to be there as well. Look, bring in the sheep. Wait, where are the longbows? There they are. Teeing off now on that back line. Single spear out here. He's going to have a little bit of trouble, outnumbered by a huge amount. And the archer manages to stay alive for just long enough to get those shots in on the spear. Second spear comes in. He does a little bit of a ring around the rosy and manages to keep himself afloat with that Royal Knight, but now that next archer is coming out, and Kiljardi's doing a good job in holding on this time. You can see he's just really committing to gathering as much stone as he can out here, obviously dealing with this micro, but it's beautiful micro early on in this game. The archer does go down, but he's bought enough time for that second TC, and that's what's important. Meanwhile, back behind this, we can see Beastie still not yet with the resources for that second TC, so Kiljardi doing a really good job of getting ahead here. And now you can see Beastie actually coming up. He knows where the second TC is going to come down, so he immediately just looks to try and come through. Not going to find any more luck up here. Obviously, the Royal Knight doing a decent job of guarding this position for the moment. Needs to make sure he kills all the deer, and you can see that's what he's going about doing right now as Beastie comes in to try and scare that back. He wants to just make it as difficult for Kiljardi to gather up any of these deer. So very nice job there by Beastie, but unfortunately, not going to be able to find too much luck with it. Horseman also out now. So we're at that stage where we've got 2 TCs each apiece. Beastie also going to be taking the deer. So not going to be going for the safe route on the gold vein. He's obviously a very aggressive player, quite a competent defender. So doesn't feel the need to be throwing down that town center on the gold the same way that I encourage people to throw down. It just means it's a lot more... it's a lot safer, right? You don't have to ever worry about your gold. And another thing to note is we don't actually see that much of a farm transition coming through yet. He's got a couple of villagers out here just chilling out for the moment. I'm not sure exactly what's happened here. Maybe commanding them to build the lumber camp, and they've kind of bugged out a little bit. But we do see walls now coming down on the south side of the base. Let's talk a little bit about spawns here. We haven't talked much about spawn this game, but Highview is a map where you can have great spawns or you can have terrible spawns. And Beastie has got an absolute banger of a spawn. Double bottom side forest spawn means that it creates a very easy natural defense for him. All he needs to do is put up a couple of palisades. He's going to be absolutely fine. And he connects that full bottom side safely. Meanwhile, towards the top side, he's got a nice safe gold up here. Easy to wall that off. Gets the stone as well. Deer pack back here as well. And he's able to connect those walls up as well to the front. Compare that over to the other side, where Kiljardi has got no such thing. If he wants to wall off, he's going to have to take this forest and go all the way to the edge of the map. Whether that be there, whether it be over here. If he wants to wall off this top side, he's going to have to come around the landmark. Not to mention that if he wants to wall off this town center, you're going to have to make it a real awkward position. So Beastie's got very naturally defensive spawning, which is wonderful for him. Outpost now going to be coming up for Beastie as well. Still only the 2 farms for the moment. Not going to be looking towards any kind of castle age at this point. Upgrades on the way through. We see the double broad axe in the north of the map. Looks like just clearing up a couple of wolves here. We're right on board with Kiljardi and see exactly what his plan is from here. A lot of villagers on food, as you would expect. Continuing to make more and more units. We see knights as well as archers in queue. Let's see how heavy he goes with production. For the moment, it's just the 2 archery ranges. He spots out the second town center. He knows it's on the deer. So it could be a play towards that castle age. Often we see players going castle age, looking to put down on that deer. Huge amount of villagers now on gold. Is he rallying out here? He's rallying out here. No more production coming down for the moment. So this has been traditionally a matchup that's quite interesting. Excuse me, I just paused my mic, or muted my mic, because it's like, I have something to say, and I try and say it, and it doesn't work, so I have to mute my mic and then come back to you guys. So this matchup has been a traditionally an interesting matchup because of the dynamics of the landmarks. So you've got the Council Hall, which is an archery range, against a School of Cavalry, which is a stable. And naturally, you look at the stable and you're like, well, the stable counters the archery range. So you'd come away thinking that, okay, well, the French are going to do great in this matchup because they've got free stables that can, you know, counter the units that the enemy's making for free, which are the longbowmen. But what is different about this matchup is that the longbow have got 1 damage extra over the top of your standard archer. The archer's only got a base of 5. And that might seem like a small deal, but that extra damage starts to add up when you're up against armored units like the knight. If you're fighting up against a knight and they've got 4 armor, so you can see the 3 plus the 1, and you're doing 5 plus 6 damage, it means that you're only doing a total of 2 damage past their armor. However, for the longbows, they do 3 damage past the armor. And that's equivalent to an extra 50% of damage. So these longbows right now, they've got 50% more damage than any other civilization. And that's what makes them actually quite strong against the French. It's a really... I hope I've explained it well, and I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, leave a comment down below. I'm sure other people will be there in the comments ready to explain it. But I hope that makes sense. But that's part of the reason why I do like this matchup a lot, because Don Artie, for me, was really the guy that changed this matchup because of how powerful he went in the feudal age on aggression. He just said, I don't need to care about the French player doing their thing. You know, they want to go for knight and archers. That's fine. I'm just going to go spearmen. I'm just going to go longbows, and I'm going to beat them. And that's exactly what he did. And he was able to pick off all of those knights just with his extra range and extra damage longbows. So, a little bit of a lull period. 11 minutes through. Let's switch it over to income per minute so we can get an idea of where these guys are at. And you can feel that they're both gearing up for a fight in the feudal age. Neither of them looking towards castle age. Both of them with large armies, 28 versus 30 military at the moment. And continuing to add to that, we can see that Beastie's still with 3 units in queue. Kiljardi, a little bit of a pause here, but we do see that he is working on upgrades. So I'm curious to see what his plan is now, whether he looks to continue playing it out in the feudal age, or whether he decides, you know what, maybe it's time. Maybe we go castle. And it looks like he throws a couple more units in queue for the moment. Upgrade's going to continue coming through on the bottom side here for Beastie. It's going to be +1 ranged attack, +1 ranged armor. Now looking for fitted leatherwork, the melee upgrade. Meanwhile, units, the walls coming up as well. You can see it's just such an easy defense here from Beastie. Doesn't really have to worry about the French raids. You know, normally you're playing against the French and you're pulling your hair out. You're like, where are they going to attack me from next? He can try, but Beastie's going to have warning sign. Oof. Let me get a zoom in on that. Can we get a confirmation? I feel like I'm watching the tennis right now, and it's like we need what do they call it? Like the video verification. It's like, that looks like it might be a hole in the wall, sir. I think we've got a hole. Let's see if it can be found, though. That's going to be the question. Can they find the hole? I know I often have trouble with it, so it is. Let's see if Kiljardi manages to spot it out. I feel like his knights are just running directly towards it. Beastie making a critical mistake. Even the best in the world, baby, can make mistakes. And there it is, Beastie going, oh my lord. The timing hit perfectly. I think we had a second hole over here as well. That definitely looks like a 2-holer to me. Yeah, that creates a bit of an issue, because now there's knights in your base. And knights in your base is not necessarily where you want them. It's like Snakes on a Plane. It's the sequel to it. You know, often people think Snakes on the Plane 2 is the sequel to Snakes on a Plane. It's not. It's Knights in your base. You don't want them there. But now Longbow's starting to push up. He manages to even out a couple of those villager kills. I think we've definitely got textiles in. You can tell by how much damage those things were taking. So now on the backside, those knights still able to posture and put on some pressure. Beastie obviously going to be getting the warning sign. Great thing about playing English is that when you've got enemy units nearby, you do get those bells that start ringing and letting you know, ding, 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 it is happening. So always got to be careful, but expect to see Beastie move into siege engineering at this point. I feel like he can probably start to look applying pressure here in the feudal age, either that or castle age. It's one of the two. But meanwhile, back towards his base, he's going to be able to pick up a couple of knights here, but obviously the numbers are a little bit concerning. More spears going to continue to rally out here. Probably might need to throw a couple of villagers inside the town center just to help out with this cover fire. There they go, finally jumping inside. But one of those knights does manage to get out on pretty low health. He'll have the option of staying on the sidelines and healing up if he so pleases. And more spears coming back, but there's villagers on this top side here. He's got to be careful. The scout's here with them. He's going to spot it out. And Kiljardi says, mate, we're 65 villages apiece here, but I'm looking to try and change that. But fortunately, Beastie's reinforcements come in just in the nick of time. At the same time, these walls are still, or these holes are yet to be plugged towards that top side. Beastie's numbers looking a little bit concerning here. I guess, realistically, Kiljardi's just been pumping all of his subsequent reinforcements into his army, keeping those raiders over at bay. And speaking of bay, oh no, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. And at the same time, Beastie focused on just dealing with this front. Knights in the backside. Longbow's going to be looking to try and take them out slowly but steadily. You can see it's a little bit of damage. Beastie pulls the villagers once again, but he's starting to lose plenty of them. You can see the worker kills rising for his opponent. Meanwhile, let's check back in. As they do go down, he loses another knight. And now Beastie holding on for dear life. The horsemen together with the knights. You can really see the difference that's been made here, because Beastie's units were being plugged into the back to try and fill that hole, whereas Kiljardi's were just being added to that mass, and Kiljardi was able to take advantage of that fact. And now Beastie in a lot of trouble here. Kiljardi coming in for the kill, and look at the wood that he's stacking up right now. Tell me we've got siege engineering, Kiljardi. Tell me we've got it. We don't have it. We need it right now. We could be throwing down so many battering rams. We could be ending this game in the next 3 minutes if we really wanted to do it. Let's see if he goes for it, though. He's got that option open to him. Other than that, you could look for a farm transition, and it looks like that's exactly what he's gone for. So he said, you know what? I'll go for a farm transition. I'll throw in a bit more production, but we're not going Castle Age, baby. We are staying in feudal. He's making more units. He senses that Beastie might be on the edge right now. He could look to push him over. Speaking of Beastie, down now, adding in more and more farms. He's rising up to 24 farms now. A pretty decent number. You can see it says 14 at the moment, but he's obviously got plenty of them in queue. But this is a great threshold of farmers to be on. You really don't need to go more than this until you're sitting at about, say, 18, 19 minutes, depending on how many TCs you sit on. But 24 is just absolutely immaculate. And now Beastie throwing down production as well. He says, okay, if we're doing this properly. Let's get it going. Feudal Age fights are back, and they are back in force. Beastie has taken that personally. Sheep, you poor little thing. I wish there was a zoom for my zoom. Can we get a double zoom? Can we get a zoom that's so thick that not even a sheep, like the sheep doesn't even fit on the camera? That's the kind of zoom that I need in Age of Empires 4. Because just remember, the devs, for whatever reason, they took zoom out of caster mode. I can't zoom right now. That's why I give you guys the fat boy zoom. This zoom right here, this is a meme. This isn't me like, oh, look at that. This is the only zoom I can give you. That is it. So I'm just saying, right? If we want to stop seeing fat boy zooms, oh my lord, there's still so many archers back here. I didn't remember. I forgot about these archers. But Beastie, the numbers have built up to a decent amount here. The push at the front continues for Kiljardi. The battering rams are finally coming out here, but you can feel that the fact that he was separated has really cost him, because now he just throws away all of this archer mass to his opponent. For essentially free. Look, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a handful of longbow bodies back here, but realistically, that's a free army that Beastie's just picked up. So if there's a way back into this game, Beastie has indeed found it. But speaking of finding things right now, Beastie might need to find God, because there is a massive push coming in on the front, and he's going to need a prayer to save himself right here. I think this TC is almost certainly going down. Beastie's going to be heading castle shortly. Does he look to go for a white tower? I mean, you could put a white tower down right here. He's going to go the King's Palace. He says, you know what, Drongo? We don't need the white tower. I'm confident in my defensive abilities without it. We're just going to go the King's Palace. We're going to play a little bit more of a greedy route. Let's see how it pans out for him, though. Villagers still pretty even at this stage. 83 versus 82. Beastie now looking to wall up on that south side. Realizes, you know what? We've just got too many holes in these walls. We're going to have to go elsewhere. He's got so much wood on this backside, though. It was always an option for him to look down there, but the age up comes through. Beastie now on 3 TCs, or rather 3 landmarks. And Kiljardi on the other side, continuing to add in more and more units here. He's got 2 options. Either he can go back and look for castle himself, or he can push the issue. Which way does he go? It looks like, oh, it's hard to tell, but he's starting to stack up those resources now. So it could be that he's thinking about just going castle age here. Numbers continuing to build. Beastie with villagers towards that top side. He's got a gate up here. Keep himself safe. Looks like the scout spots it out. He's got the scout here. Will the villagers make it in time? They've got wheelbarrows. At least I think they've got wheelbarrows. Beastie might have made a little bit of a mistake right there, but manages to get 2, 3, 4 vills lost. That's quite a bit. And now he's working on that gate. Beastie going to come around the other side. Going to get met here by Kiljardi, and you can see Kiljardi's coming in from every single angle. At the same time, it looks like those battering rams did go down. but Kiljadi doing a decent job to really flesh out that villager lead. The difference of 12 now between them. An action-packed game here. Definitely one of the hotter ones for Season 5. We can say that much. Towards that top side. Farms are starting to come up now for Kiljadi. How many farms are we talking here? 20 farms. Royal Institute timing. It's looking solid. Where does he go from here? 13 knights. That's a good amount of knights to have. The problem is, your enemy's already got spears out, and it's so easy for them to transition into crossbows. So if Beastie wants to transition into crossbows here, super duper easy. So going into knights more heavily, so basically I'm making the argument against going into Royal Bloodlines. Royal Bloodlines is a wonderful tech, and we do see veterancy coming through on the Royal Knights, and veterancy on the Archers. I would expect that we'd see +2 coming through, but he does go into Royal Bloodlines, which to me, it's almost a bit of a red flag. I'm not saying that, you know, you shouldn't be going into cavalry here. The problem is that Beastie is absolutely prepped and ready for it. He's got so many spears out here. Transition into crossbows is not going to be hard at all if he sees that coming, or if he fears that is going to be coming. 13 knights out at the moment for Kiljadi though. And one of the big things I feel like with going into Royal Bloodlines is if you're going to do it, you got to go hard, right? Like you just got to say, okay, we're going Royal Bloodlines. That's what I'm talking about. 3 knights in queue now. Hopefully that starts to pick up. Only a couple of stables back here. Not a huge amount. Let's tune in with Beastie. We'll watch along with one of the longbows as I take a quick break right here. All right, hopefully that's better. It's tough. It's tough filming. It's tough recording, doing these live without being able to edit this out. I mean, I guess I could technically edit it out and just mute it for you guys, but I prefer not to. I prefer just to keep it continuous. And now those knight numbers are rising. Still no Royal Bloodlines through just yet. It's going to be another 22 seconds that he needs to wait. But he's going to take the fight anyway. Spearmen getting picked off. The Archers doing a decent job of coming up. Men-at-Arms yet to pick up their extra +2 armor. He's only got the +2 ranged armor for the moment. No armor cladding just yet. Is it on the way? It's not even on the way just yet. Needs to look for this. Double Monastery getting thrown down back at home. And now we also see Cantled Saddles coming through. Cancels the Monastery. Probably the right choice. He's already thrown down one. And now that Monk from Beastie going to be moving up towards the top side. It's going to get picked off before he even has the chance to come out. Line of sight being established by both of these players on the extremities of the map. We're right on board with Beastie, and you can see that he's working his way around the map. He's got outposts coming up on all sides. Wants to make sure he's well and truly aware of any kind of pressure that gets put on. A couple more units heading towards that backline. We're right on board with Kiljadi now. You can see he's looking to do the same. Outpost here, shut down. Outpost down here, shut down. Beastie doing a wonderful job. And now Beastie continuing to move forward with his own outpost. Unlikely that it will get up. We'll watch to see how it plays, though. There's a good chance you'll see a knight coming out here within the next 10 seconds. More rams coming down now. Beastie going to be under pressure. Armor cladding is through. There's the knights. On the way towards that top side. Just a pixel, a tile too far. And he will get hit for it. He spots out the villagers for Beastie. And now those numbers really starting to build. Look at the longbows. It's 195 population for Beastie versus 182 for Kiljadi. Remember that a lot of that are knights. One of the most population effective units in the game. And now behind the walls, Beastie looks to try and go. He manages to get the majority of the longbows in there. Takes a few losses at the doors, or rather at the gates. Now those battering rams have managed to create a hole on this bottom side. He could look to re-wall. He could look to siege them down. He's just going to look to fall back instead. A second TC, a third TC for Beastie has now come up. He's got the King's Palace. He's got the main TC, and he's got this one as well. Beastie behind by only 8 villagers at the moment. And that TC will be under pressure again shortly. Spears up towards that top side. Relic's been picked up. Wallalol over towards the east side. I think he's going to end up... Oh, he might take it. He might take it. He might take him. He does indeed, but he loses the Monk for it. And now those knights come through. Beautiful bracing by the spearman. Looked to get the charge in. Wasn't able to find it. He's going to have to come back. Longbow's just able to pick off this backline. Spearman going to have to turn around them again. Managed to do it. Get a nice little skewer. Keep one of those knights nice and safe and say, see you later, guys. Men-at-arm numbers starting to build here as well. And you can see that Kiljadi's units have been dwindled down. We see another Monk coming forward with a relic. I don't know what that was. It was like a puff of smoke coming out the top. Town center goes down. Monastery goes down, losing a lot of resources here, but at the same time, still able to keep it together. Knight numbers really starting to build, and you can see that's where the Royal Institute comes through. It is these royal bloodline, royal knights. Wallalo, gonna get sniped out. He's gonna try for it. I was gonna give you guys a little bit of a wide, but it doesn't matter at this point because I think the holds come through from Beastie. He's managed to keep it together. The knight numbers have dwindled to the point where it's not really a threat. The longbows with their extra damage are able to really do quite a lot of work here. Keep in mind, even once they reach the castle age, you're talking about 9 damage plus versus 10 damage. So they still get that bonus of 1 damage difference over their rivals. A little bit of a spear raid back here for Beastie. He knows his enemy's spamming out knights. It's going to be the easiest way to clean up a raid. So what's the best thing to do? Raid with spears, so they can't send knights. They've got to send archers as well. So Beastie cleaning up villages here. We can see he's picked up a couple more on that top side. Let's ride on board with Kiljati and see what that line of sight's looking like. He's picked up this large gold vein down towards the south side. No keep for the moment. He is starting to work on stone, though. You can see 690 stone in the bank, or rather 690 stone income. And there's that keep that's been thrown down. So that's our first keep of the game. Everything going well for Kiljati at the moment. The attack obviously was foiled by Beastie. But as we go into the Imperial Age, or at least towards that Imperial Age, the French actually do pretty well here. Part of the reason why the French do so well on this map, well, not just on this map, well, yeah, on this map, is because games go late. And because games go late, French post-imp is actually really good. So the way that the French win these games is that they have to survive through the English resources. And I know that seems wild, but essentially you have to take this game to like an hour plus to win from here as the French. I mean, there's still other ways that you can win, don't get me wrong. But that's going to be like a core component of it. And it really becomes burdensome on the English to try and finish the game before that happens. They need to take advantage of the resources that are on the map, and you can see Beastie looking to fight to secure those resources now. They keep coming down. Expect him to move up towards this large gold vein as well. Expect him to be looking to put down a keep on this gold vein. He'll be looking to double up here. He wants to secure these, because if he's able to secure these, then it guarantees his position for at least another 6 minutes on each of these gold veins. But now, towards the middle of the map, production is really starting to get thrown down. Keep in mind, he's got that reduced cost coming through from the keep influence. 20% reduction on cost of units. Stonewall attempt number 1. Gonna find a couple of knights here. Not too many. Crossbow numbers are building though as well. And Beastie with a beautiful mix of infantry. Just going for an infantry salad. Spears, men-at-arms, crossbows, longbows. Mixing it all together. You're asking for a mango though, Beastie. Gotta be careful. You can't be asking mangoes. Asking for mangoes at this time of year. It's winter, mate. They're not in season. At least not in season for me. They're probably in season for him. It's summer over that time of the over that part of the world. And Beastie going for a big counterattack here, but he's got infantry, remember. So the thing that scares me is if Kiljati breaks through here, he just goes and attacks the villagers, and Beastie pulls his hair out and goes, "Oh, that's not good." But Beastie's got a pretty sizable force here. But Kiljati, he can be mobile. He can just move to the south, right? Like, you just bring your villagers down here, set up a camp on this wood line, add in some more farms under your keep. Like, I kind of take it back. Beastie's doing a good job. And now Kiljati looking to try and emulate that same success over on the east side of the map. Beastie able to chase back all of these villagers. Meanwhile, just a couple of them just going to chill out. And now more of them making their way towards the center of the map. We've got ourselves a good old-fashioned base race, ladies and gentlemen. Knights managed to find it on the gold. Villager difference really going to start to add up now. A difference of 17, 18, 19 for Kiljati. Let's see exactly where it ends, though. That's going to be the question. Knight's going to be able to clean up the infantry here. More and more. Look at this. Longbows together with the crossbows. Just going to start picking this off. If we've got a mango, no, we've got a mango. Of course we've got a mango. It's that time of year. You expect to see it. Keep going to be going up on the backside. A lot of archers in here. Expect villagers to go down. This is an absolute massacre beginning to break out right now. What a game that we're getting the pleasure of watching and witnessing as this game looks to go into the 30th minute right now. An incredible performance coming out from both of these players. And it looks like for the majority of villagers over on this side, we've got 47 versus 47 kills apiece here. 20 villagers the difference on the top score, though, which is the one that matters. And now the first of the mangonels comes in off the top rope, out with a chair. Is he going to find it? No, not there. Unfortunately, Kiljati not paying attention, probably looking elsewhere on the map. And Beastie looks to escape safely from that mango. You can see the mango tries, but unfortunately, I mean, You got one. Good job. Good job, Mango. And look at this. Beastie just absolutely everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not to mention the army of archers. So Kiljardi definitely feeling the wrath of Beastie for playing the no wall challenge. This is a bit of a meme. You know, this meme originally came up with GUA. GUA was playing a game and he was just getting raided from every single corner of the map. And people were kind of memeing. They were like, GUA going for the no wall challenge again. But the reality is when you go for the no wall challenge, which is when you decide not to make walls, this is what happens. You get picked apart. This is what you deserve for going for the no wall challenge. You deserve to have units in every single part of your base. And Beastie now with the forward Berkshire looks to drop it down right upon that enemy forward position. He looks to secure up the gold as well. So now he's got control of both large gold veins. And that's going to be problematic here for Kiljardi on the top side, because by securing that, it guarantees that Beastie's got the resources to really grind down Kiljardi. Population difference between these two is starting to climb as well. 40 population the difference. Keep in mind, Beastie's running mainly infantry. As the Berkshire Palace comes up, he's going to need to go into trebuchets to deal with this. You can't deal with this in any other way. It has to be trebuchets. It's just not possible. Unless you want to go into like 4 bombards, which is just overkill, it's definitely not worthwhile. 35 villagers heading back to work now on that wood line. Upgrades starting to come through for Beastie. Springald in placement. Cannon in placement. Enclosures. Elite men-at-arms. And Beastie's still behind enemy lines. Kiljardi just having so much trouble dealing with these archers, these crossbows. And now that focus is going to be all on the front. I suspect Beastie's just going to look to really push in with a whole bunch of units here. Kiljardi trying to keep it together. Adding in a couple more farms here. You can see the men-at-arms underneath the town center. Brings back the mangoes. Not too sure where he wants to focus his attention. The mangoes can't really do much unless there's one continuous front. He's up to 4 mangoes here. Able to fire off towards that front position. A 5th mango coming out. Really, Kiljardi? That's what you think you need at this time? And you can see the range right there of the Berkshire. This unit, this layer mark is absurd. Springald in placement coming through as well. Look at it just sniping out. This is what we were talking about. You can't go into bombards. You can't even stand this. Look at him just, he's standing here. He's just getting pulled apart. I feel like Beastie's just completely drained him of energy and he's got nothing left. He doesn't have the APM to fight it. And this is where you see the difference between the great and the greatest. Right now is where you see it. Beastie's APM is online. He is honed. He's sitting there. He's Megatron cutie. And, well, he's not really Megatron cutie. He's more like, he's ramming cutie? I don't know what he is. But the point is, he is APMing out his wazoo right now. He is having a great time. And he's having a blast. Meanwhile, Kiljardi, it's too hot in the kitchen right now. He can't keep up with the amount of dishes that this guy is just requesting him to cook. So he's got to get out. He's got to get out. How does he find a way back into this? Beastie is up 4 times the military, or at least 4 times the main military, not the siege. I mean, we're talking 29 versus 80, so about 2 to 3 times the difference between them at the moment. But Kiljardi going to be looking to try and come across the map here. Is this his last hurrah right here? He's trying to find he's hoping that 47 villagers try and siege down his mangoes and he gets a shot off on them. Is that it? Is that what he's hoping for? Elite men-at-arms going to be looking to hold the front. Mangoes firing off towards the back. Men-at-arms have got their full upgrades through. Keep that in mind. Look at the armor on these bad boys. You're talking about 9 of the world's best armor. Still technically not the most. They can actually get to 10. And meanwhile, behind this, raids just coming in from all angles. And Beastie able to clean up that attack. Kiljardi with nothing left at this point other than to type GG. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you've enjoyed this game, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you check out the creators here. I don't think Kiljardi streams. I tried to find him. I couldn't find him from the last game. But check out Beastie. I'll leave a link in the description. I'm sure you know where to find him anyway. But I'll throw it in there for you. And thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one.